Hi, my name is Liza, and welcome to your Manifestation Yoga series, where we will be exploring yoga lifestyle and manifesting with Ahimsa. So you may think that Ahimsa is, for those of you who are yoga geeks like me, you may think Ahimsa, how do you manifest with Ahimsa? Well, yoga is pretty much the power or tool that can be utilized for manifestation. And there's a whole philosophy for a lifestyle and little tools and practices you can use for your everyday life where you can begin to attract things such as forgiveness, compassion. You will see yourself and others in a different light. And it will give you opportunity to grow in really powerful ways. Ahimsa has helped me in the most subtle of ways, and it has helped me in the greatest of ways. I think Ahimsa is something that is more than needed right now in this current world, especially with the rise of social media. We need to start thinking a little bit more about how we are nonviolent. And if you're like, what is Ahimsa? What is she talking about? Ahimsa is the practice of nonviolence. I did a video about it in my yamas and niyamas yoga video. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit more interactive and different. I want you to pause the video and I want you to get a journal, pencil, pen, paper, and I just want you to set up. We are going to be journaling, maybe writing some notes that resonate with you, and also meditating, using visualization in our meditation to manifest with Ahimsa. So once you grab all of that, I am going to dive on into what you can manifest, or the benefits of manifesting by using Ahimsa. And I'm going to read this really quick to you so you can get a great idea of what Ahimsa is. Ahimsa Pratistayam tat samidhau vaira tyaga. It pretty much means when you have established the practice of nonviolence in your life, all presence of hostility is completely given up. This book is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, translated and commented by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And I'm really lucky that a lot of my teachers were able to practice with him or have come from that school of thought. Starting with the 35th Sutra, Patanjali covers the 10 virtues one by one. When the vow of Ahimsa is established in someone, all enmity ceases in his or her presence because that person emits harmonious vibrations. If two people have enmity between them come to such a person, they will temporarily forget it. And by enmity, it means hostility, it means violence. So he's saying pretty much if you have practiced Ahimsa in your everyday life, people who are very negative or who tend to want to cause trouble will, in your presence for whatever reason, because you're attracting that energy, you're attracting that vibration, they'll pretty much have a harder time being hostile around you. And it also makes psychological sense. Even wild animals forget their nature of causing pain in the presence of one established in Ahimsa. And Mahatma Gandhi is one who talks about Ahimsa. Saint Francis is another person that cultivates Ahimsa, the Buddha. When you are totally one with the act of not hurting other people in your words, in your thoughts, in your actions, you begin to really tune on into this vibration of self-love. Magic and miracles appear. And in my personal experience, for me, the practice of Ahimsa came very strong in two ways that were transformative. It was with the people that I dated, the people or the men that I dated, the men that I felt really exuded violence in ways, whether it was emotional violence, and I'm pretty sure you can resonate with that. Sometimes we surround ourselves with people who are violent in nature and we don't even realize it. And in my experience, when I recognized violence within the own male lineage in my family and I said enough is enough, that was a beautiful way to let go of that violence within myself. And I began to want to attract those who revered themselves, but also the people around them with respect, with love, with kindness. And it's something that I still work on. Another way that Ahimsa has manifested into my life that has helped me view my body in a completely different way is with my own journey of compassion and acceptance. So the benefits of manifesting with Ahimsa pretty much can lead to compassion, love, having the greatest of friends around you, and planting the seeds for a better world in which you can begin to manifest a world that Dr. Martin Luther King spoke of, that Mahatma Gandhi spoke of, that Jesus spoke of, that Buddha spoke of, that all these great leaders have spoke of, that we deserve. A world where there's really no violence, no pain or suffering that is caused by the actions, the thoughts, or the words of others. So with that, and that little introduction into Ahimsa, let's go ahead and begin this meditation and manifestation practice with a singing bowl and the word Om. Begin to close the eyes. Take a nice big deep inhale into the body and exhale. Continue to breathe naturally. And just allow yourself to be here right now and think about the idea of how can I release violence, let go of whatever that is, so I can begin to attract love, compassion, forgiveness, and even so much more, self-acceptance. So I can attract all that I deserve. A life that I deserve, a life that I have craved. Begin to visualize that life for yourself. What does a life of non-violence look like to you? Where words, thoughts, and actions that tend to be violence for you dissipate. And imagine a life for yourself that's filled with love. No fear, no ignorance. When you are ready and you have that vision clear in your mind, let's go ahead and open this practice with one loud Om. Take a nice big deep inhale into the vibration of Om. Gently float the eyes open. Now go ahead, my friend, write down what resonated with you in the practice of Ahimsa, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. And write down what life looks like for you when there's in the absence of violence. And violence can range from small things to self-criticism to big things, such as hate in the world. So go ahead and take that moment for yourself. So once you have gone ahead and finished up, we're going to go ahead and really explore your understanding of what ahimsa means for you. And feel free to write down words, ideas, and things that really resonate within that vision that you have for yourself of ahimsa. So when I speak about ahimsa on a personal, individual scale to a global scale, I mean just that. That's how powerful this thing is. Ahimsa is within the yamas of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And I love that we start with nonviolence, because I feel when we do things from a place of true love for ourselves and others, it's like the world can just transform around you. I love when I talk about manifesting healthy relationships, because I think the first thing you need to do with attracting a healthy relationship is building that within yourself. And don't get me wrong, building a healthy relationship within yourself is a lifelong practice. But when you've made that commitment, it's like nothing can really stand in your way. The BS you put up with in the past isn't gonna cut it anymore. And that's not just with romantic relationships, that's with friendships, that's with your work. I mean, how many times do we feel abused by a boss? And when we finally say, I deserve more respect than this, I don't deserve this violence in my life, things just transform and change. That happened to me in a situation where there was a boss that I had within a yoga studio that did not practice ahimsa, that kind of manipulated and micromanaged all the employees there. And when I left, I was like, I need more. And it was a scary thing for me to do. It was a risk for me to do. But once I did it, it was so freeing. And I was able to attract a boss and leader that was easier for me to be who I needed to be in this world, or who made it easier for me to be who I am or who I need to be in this world. Dharma, and this is a Dharma talk, is your soul's purpose. So ahimsa and your soul's purpose, or that vision you have for yourself and your soul's purpose, all intertwine. These tools that I'm presenting to you weave in and out of different techniques and different ways to apply, different truths, different perspectives. But one thing I want you to learn is this is 100% for you. I'm not, the say-all, do-all guru. You are your own guru. You are your own teacher. I'm just giving you some ideas to help you cultivate your own garden. So I want you to answer these questions. Feel free to write it down. In which ways would you like to stop being maybe so violent to yourself? And just take a moment to be a little bit kind and compassionate and not be so hard and judgmental. But in which ways would you like to practice being kinder to yourself? And you can pause the video and write those down. How are you violent or unkind to others? What harsh words, thoughts do you use sometimes with yourself? How do you speak about yourself? You use words like, I'm so stupid, which sometimes it can be funny, but it's also, once you say it enough, it's almost like you believe it. That's why I love affirmations or positive affirmations. I feel like words are like spells that we cast into the universe, and the more and more we say these words, the more and more true they become. So which words would you want to use more in your life? With that vision that you saw for yourself in that brief meditation that we took, what do you feel really resonated in your vision that is in alignment with non-violence? And what is violence for you? So in which ways do you personally need to really release and let go of violent acts within yourself? And especially when it comes to judgment and comparison. a note on judgment and unfair gossip and comparison, specifically when it comes to social media. And again, I am in recovery for disordered eating. I've been in recovery for disordered eating for 2 years, and that's where Ahimsa has really shown up in my life for me in a really abrupt, real way. When we see other women and or men's bodies and we're like, damn, I so want that. Like, look at them. They look so strong. They look so fit. And we put ourselves down in the process and we compare, that is one of the most violent acts that we can do, because we are rejecting ourselves. We are rejecting the foundation of who we are. And when we reject parts of who we are, not who we are, but parts of it, we are rejecting parts of our dharma. We are rejecting parts of our soul's purpose on this planet and what we want to do and what we need to do. So it is important when practicing Ahimsa that you really are mindful of when you compare yourself and when you are so harsh on yourself, especially when it comes to other people, because your journey is unique. So go ahead and continue to write notes, write down whatever comes to you in regards to that part of practicing and manifesting with Ahimsa. Here's another great way to sum up the opposite if you still don't understand what Ahimsa is. When negative thoughts or acts such as violence, etc. are done, caused to be done, or even approved of, whether incited by greed, anger, or infatuation, whether indulged with mild, medium, or extreme intensity, they are based on ignorance and bring a certain pain. Reflecting on this is also a big practice of Ahimsa. It's reflecting on, when have I obsessed over someone? When have I, posted something for the sake of clout, or when have I been untrue to myself in a negative, violent way? So with that, let's move on to the next part of this practice. Go ahead and lie on down. And I want you to really lie on down and come into full Shavasana for me. And I want you to repeat these affirmations. Again, words are ways in which we can attract. I am loving. I am kind. I am loving. I am kind. I am worthy of all love. I am worthy of all love. I seek compassion within myself and with others. I seek compassion within myself and others. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm exactly where I am meant to be. I am enough. I am enough. When you can see when you are enough within yourself, when you can see other people are enough, when you can accept that not everyone can be who you need them to be or want them to be, and you reject that force, you reject that hostility, you bring it back to you, Ahimsa can be a beautiful thing. And as you lay there, begin to think to yourself about all the kind words you can use and all the ways you can practice Ahimsa. And then begin to take that vision to your loved ones, your friends, your family, and see how Ahimsa affects them. See what happens when you don't choose to argue over something that isn't going to make a difference. when you choose to accept, to be compassionate, to say, I understand. To live a life from a place of true love, true healing, and then begin to take it to a global scale. Practicing and standing up for love. Seeing a world where there's no discrimination, no hate, no pain or suffering, no war. There's no greed. Where we all somehow can act and choose to make important life decisions for ourselves and others from a place of love, real love, understanding, and nonviolence. And may this vision within yourself come to light. May it be blessed, for it already exists. If you can imagine it, it already is. You are. This is. When you are ready, slowly begin to roll onto your side. Press on up to your comfortable seated position. I'll give you a few more seconds. So, as you can see, I can't tell you practice ahimsa by X, Y, and Z. I mean, I could, but for the purpose of this manifestation video, I really want you to see what ahimsa means for yourself, what it means for you. It's not as simple as just, becoming a vegetarian and being mindful of the planet. It's not as challenging as ending war right now. It is somewhere in between, and it begins within yourself. And it begins with practical little things like the people we surround ourselves with and the words we use for ourselves or to describe ourselves, even when we're describing parts that we want to evolve or change. And it's also as challenging as really diving deep and being honest with ourselves, which is another video for another time. I end this part of the series with a story, a very quick one. A sage comes to a village where a snake is terrorizing and harassing the villagers. And the sage speaks to the snake and talks to him about ahimsa and how his life will be so much better with ahimsa if he just allows a little bit of hostility and anger and frustration to leave his life, and he does that healing work and he begins to act and move from a place of love. The sage leaves the town, comes back 6 months later, and he sees the snake withered on the ground, the shadow of what he was. He says to the snake, "What happened?" And the snake says, "Well, I realized when exploring ahimsa, I had to stop eating mice because that was violence. I had to, stop harassing the children. So they threw stones at me and they were rude to me and they're mean to me. But I realized in being loving and kind, eventually that will send the vibration of kindness for everyone in the village." And the sage looks at him and says, "I taught you to practice ahimsa to be less angry and frustrated and hostile towards other people. I didn't want you to stop being a snake." And that's my words for you guys. I really want you to see what principles of ahimsa resonate with you and see what doesn't. And then use it as a tool to manifest the life you deserve. Not what people tell you you should be doing or how you should manifest it. Something that is uniquely and 100% yours. And that's what I have for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you stayed with me this long, thank you so much. This is like straight up Dharma talk and what I'm used to. So thank you so much for just chilling with me and manifesting with me and visualizing with me. Please feel free to like the video if it resonated with you, comment any questions or any thoughts down below, and feel free to check out my manifestation course, Manifesting a Happier and Healthier Life, where I dive a little bit deeper into these yogic principles and how to use it to manifest the life that you deserve. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, night, week, or weekend. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.